Welcome to Vision Profiles, the podcast dedicated to Apple Vision Pro users. We dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty, an associate professor at Kent State University, a podcaster, and a longtime Apple enthusiast.
I'm Eric Bolden. I worked in IT, but my passion is finding creative ways to share content, currently photography of plants, birds, panoramic sequences, and anything that gets me out of the rain.
I'm Dave Ginsburg, the host of the In Touch with iOS podcast, with a deep passion for technology, especially Apple, and how it's used in real-world environments as an IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert. I continually discovering ways the Apple Vision Pro can shape the future of computing.
Well, this is show number 99. Next week, we'll be doing 100. And I'm going through some of the stuff and seeing I need to fix things, update things. I need to get Dave in as a regular and some of the promo stuff that we have, and Daniel mentioned in there. But I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I would like to open it up in ways I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. In ways of having people to be able to drop in if they want to drop in a little bit more formally than just through the chat room. But we do appreciate the chat room. But 100 shows next week. This started over 2 years ago. Well, about 2 years ago. And we've been pretty consistent with shows on a weekly basis, unless there's a technical issue or a dropout, stuff like that that's caused us problems. So it's going to be fun. I've just got to figure out how to do the fun and get the word out. 100 shows next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday night. And we'll be doing what we can do in terms of Vision Pro. You know, this was supposed to be a niche product that nobody would buy and it would go away and nobody be talking about it years from now or months from when it first came out. So cool. Very cool. I'm glad to have David and Eric tonight as part of the group. Daniel is off this week. I mentioned to him next week's 100, and he usually comes on every other week. He's definitely going to be there for us next week. Checking in with everybody. How has your week been? Anything new with Vision Pro that you want to talk about?
I was playing with the chatbot this week.
Okay.
So there was a Reddit post of someone who had built like a little AI platform module thing that you can download, and it puts a local model on the Vision Pro, and you can go through and ask it questions. So I was using, and there's a paid version of it and a free version of it. I was using it with the DeepSeek version 3 on an M2 Vision Pro. And the thing that's nice with the Vision Pro is that when you use the microphone to do the speech to text, it works really well. It's much more accurate than a lot of the other devices, probably because the microphones are placed so well and in known locations. However, I played with that, started asking a bunch of questions. I asked it about how to use up lots of extra eggs. So it came back with pound cake and custard and lemon curd. And then I asked it what plants generate heat. I didn't know about the pawpaw. I did know about skunk cabbage. I asked about how far away the moon was, and it said 30 Earths. It didn't know the details of the recent Artemis mission, but they knew that the Artemis mission was going to happen. And it mentioned it would be similar to the 3 days it took Apollo to get to the moon. It's, similar is kind of relative. So that was kind of cool. I noticed that the headset was just a tad bit on the warm side when I got done, but it was a pleasant experience, and you could ask series of questions, and it could keep track of, oh, you asked for clarification on the thing you just asked a little bit ago. So that was kind of nice too.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And we have the link in the show notes. Actually, I'm glad you talked about it now because we're going to get into a couple of topics, and it's kind of stuck in the middle there. So you might as well get that up front. And it's a Reddit link
Yeah.
to the information about it and how to use it if you want to play around with that. So pretty cool. I'll say just today, and I don't know if it was. I don't think it was only Vision Pro because I've got a notification that I've got a upgrade or a new software upgrade on my Mac OS. But Vision Pro
it's across the board.
It's across the board. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Mac OS or my Vision OS. It's Vision OS 26.5 Beta 2. And occasionally I refer to it as a developer beta, but there is really no developer beta in Vision OS. If it is a beta, it's also equivalent to the developer beta. That dropped today. It's developer only. There's really no public beta for Vision Pro, as I mentioned. There's no documented new features. This is the search that I did, it was like Watch OS, TV OS, and Vision OS typically see few additions to it. No new Apple Intelligence features. That has been wished for, but I bet you we don't see it until iOS 27 in June at WWDC coming up. Safari, which runs on Vision OS, does get some fixes, including scroll animation, bugs squashed. Some new CSS features are added, and also various CSS grid and table border layout fixtures are also part of that. The build number where we're at with 2 suggests that we're going to have 3 or 4 more betas before we get a release candidate. But that should happen. The betas seem to upgrade about every other week. So you can imagine maybe 6 to 8 weeks from now, we'll get a release candidate on this. It's, I looked into it. Part of what it is doing, and we mentioned this with the beta 1, part of what it is doing is that it is working on sort of the subscription or the payment service for Vision OS, and it's making it allowing people to do like year-long or monthly or regular payments with subscriptions. And the first one, they said they were working on it. This second beta, they talk more about, they've got a little bit more conclusive work on it, but it's not going to impact the user at all at this point. This is strictly for developer tweaking. So, so this is what I played with this week, or should I say today, because all of the stories this last week, and we mentioned it the previous episode, that Steam is going to be doing something and connecting so it's available on Vision OS. And that just came out a couple of days before our last episode. This week everybody was covering this story. Most of the stories in the feeds were about Steam and gaming with Steam on Vision OS. I've got 3 articles in there that I've selected that I think are pretty good, including a link to a page that will give you the test pilot and also the Steam for test pilot, because you have to run this through test pilot on Vision OS. Have either of you tried this, or do you have test pilot on your machine at all, on your Vision or no?
I do, but no, I just hadn't had the time this week, unfortunately.
Yeah. I tried to play with it today, and for me, it was the usual setup situation, and it was the idea that we needed you needed to have test pilot going, and you needed to be able to have that set up. You also needed to have Steam on your Mac, and I didn't have Steam on my Mac, so I had to go through the process of setting up Steam on my Mac, because that's where you're going to be doing essentially a virtual gaming display with it. So I went ahead and loaded Steam on my Mac. I had an account. I didn't realize I had an account. There's apparently I played the Unruly Goose game. There was that old one where you shepherd around, and I bought that and bought it under Steam. And when I finally got back into the account, that game was there. And I wanted to load a couple of games because one of the things that they talk about is that you need to add Apple kind of approved games. So look for the little Apple symbol when you purchase a game. So there's like Rec Room, which was free. And if you've used Meta, you know what Rec Room is. It's just knocking things apart and tearing up the environment. And then I downloaded a golf game. There was a golf game that was on sale for like 90% off. And so I got both of those loaded, but then all good platforms, as soon as you attempt to use it, it said I needed new audio drivers. So I had to load audio drivers on my desktop in order. So you can see that there's about an hour's work right there just to get the damn thing running. And finally, when I got it running, it was pretty impressive. I got to say, it does a series of tests to make sure that you have the bandwidth to be able to do the virtual games from a virtual display. And the thing that you can do is you can select if you want it flat or you can alter the curvature. So you can make it slightly curved and expand it, or you can make it really curved and still expand it if you want to play the game that way. Still 2D. And, the problem with when you have layer upon layer upon layer of things you've got to do, when one layer breaks down, everything breaks down. So it's not as direct as just having a game loaded on your device and going with it. But I can imagine for people who are diehard and dedicated Apple folks that are gamers, this gives them the beginning of what they've wanted in terms of with the Vision headset. They can port over some of their games that they play on Steam and play them on the Vision Pro. So that's kind of my short end. Believe me, I talked a lot more about it than I actually know about it. That was just my experience setting it up. And getting into the game and realizing it was about 20 minutes away from showtime. So I had to shut that down and get right into here to be able to cut the show. But I think it's going to be cool. I'll try and play with it some more this week. It's the loading of Steam on the Vision Pro through test flight was no problem whatsoever. Getting it on my machine, getting my account set up, or discovering my old account and, hooking into that and resetting the password and all of that, a little bit of effort done in that. And then the clumsiness of the Vision Pro headset is telling me that I need to do something in settings on the computing device. And what it is I have to then try and read through my Vision Pro or lift it with one hand so then I can do what I need to do with the other hand to add the driver or to switch to settings and do things like that. So a lot more clumsier than just having the game on your device. Any thoughts about this or ideas around this?
I'm glad you were testing it.
I would agree with that.
Well, thanks, guys. I'm probably the least gamer in the group. I don't know.
No, I'm not.
There's a stiff competition for the bottom rung on this one.
I'm right up there with you.
I will push. I'll push Daniel next week, over the week, to see if he can bring in some experience with it, because he was excited about it. And then we have friends that are real gamers that would be really excited about this, but don't have a Vision Pro headset. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go on to another topic. And this has to do with the stories that came out about Vision Pro and got it on the wrong set. This came out about how when they first attempted to launch Vision Pro, the Apple stores were not really set up to promote it. And this comes from a book, New York Times labor reporter Noam Schieber, Mutiny, The Rise and Revolt of College-Educated Working Class. And they talk about, and an excerpt of it was published in Wired that details how years of Apple staffing cuts degraded training, directly contributing to Apple Vision Pro's disappointing 2024 launch. And so, we have a few stories with different angles on this. We have the Wired version of the story, which is has the book excerpt in it, and that will be available and linked to you for that purpose. And then we also have one from 9 to 5 Mac, and also one from Cult of Mac that covers that story too. And then finally, AppleInsider. So I managed to get most, and MacRumors. So I managed to get most of the major outlets who were writing about this. I would say this was the second most prevalent story in the last week, besides the Steam story and all the information that was, the information that was said over and over again by different outlets, but it was very present in the media about Steam. And then this was the second one. I don't know the fascination with this. You guys have any understanding of why this now is important?
Well, yeah, because all of these writers wanted to write about the Neo and couldn't get one. So they grabbed one of these
That's
books
good.
and
I don't know.
gave them something to talk about. Now, I will say that I think that they were pushing it on connecting the staffing and training to whether or not the Vision Pro would be successful. I think it's a big difference between a device that most, if not everyone in the store can personally own, and a device that you get to use for a short amount of time and not take it home.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot harder.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think there were a lot of reasons why there wasn't a run on the store for Vision Pros. And I think it wasn't just because the staff couldn't sell it to people as they came in. I think the first stopping point was the $3,500 price point. Dave, I'm sorry, did you have something on this?
No, I just think this was a story that they just want to enhance the fact that oh my gosh, there was a bad way of introducing the Vision Pro to everybody. So just to highlight it by writing a book about it. I mean, it got the attention. We know we had the experience. The 20-minute sessions when they were first doing them were okay. I got a little excited about it, but it was too short, and it seemed that the employees were still learning the process. They didn't do a very good job of training people.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I don't remember if I even got a demo first off. I think I went ahead and purchased it without the demo. And then at another time I went into the store and sat down and got a demo. And it was not so great. but they didn't have to sell me on the device. I already had the device. I think I wanted to get my son to try it too. I wanted him to do the demo, and he was reluctant. He didn't want to jump on it at that point. He wanted to get whatever he was getting in the store and get moving. And, I wanted to play. So.
Well, when they were first doing demos, they also had the early version of the software, and that most definitely had some issues.
Yeah. Oh, huge. Yeah. It was so bad.
Yeah, and
why we still stay on beta.
Yeah, and they kind of had the they not only had the problems with it, but there was so much that you couldn't do with it that was disarming. And they didn't have a way to really talk you through it. They advanced their demos. They have iPads now that are linked into the sets. They can see what you're seeing. They can give you guidance based on what's on your screen and what you should do. They were just, and you know this, if you tried to do this early on with a friend, let me show you how this thing works. Trying to guess what they were seeing and talking them through how to get where they were going. It was hit or miss. And you're really excited about the product. But the person you're sharing it with doesn't have the same excitement because they just cannot figure out why this doesn't work for them like it apparently works for you. So
the demos are much, much better now.
Yeah.
Plus, you can ask for a demo of the Mac Virtual Display, and that wasn't an option when it first came out.
Which is I think they found out when they finally put that on beta 2 or OS 2 or whatever it was, that's what people were crazy about. That's what they've been wanting. And when they finally were able to get it to work, it's like, okay, I guess we should put this as part of our demo because that seems to be a big selling point for folks. So, yeah, this is a book I'm probably not going to read, which is easy. There's a lot of books I probably don't want to read. But there's nothing compelling about this that hasn't already been said. And some of it is just kind of tripey stuff. Like even the comments from AppleInsider, the title of the article is Vision Pro launch hampered by years of retail store penny pinching, which, they cut back on their in-store staff. I'll tell you, whenever I go to an Apple store, there are tons of people working in it. There are also tons of people in it. So yeah, strange set of articles.
Yep.
So I ran into a news source, and I kind of want to encourage you to take it with a grain of salt, because this one kept coming up, and apparently they had published a series of articles. It is on Medium, which means it's your own platform. You can do what you want. It's not necessarily checked for accuracy. It's often essays and opinions that people are writing. But the source is VisionProNews on Medium. And they had a lot of articles. Well, not a lot. They had 4 or 5 articles. And then you can hit the subscribe button, which wouldn't cost me anything, but it's sort of like, I didn't feel like I could endorse these folks because the articles were all really pretty negative. Mm-hmm. And I thought even clicking on these feels like I'm giving them attention that they don't deserve. So statements like one article, Apple has already given up on Vision Pro as a consumer product.
And who said that?
This is VisionProNews.
No, I'm saying actually, where are they finding this information from?
They don't really quote anybody in here, which is
it's their opinion.
Opinion piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take your hand, put it as far away from your mouth as you can. You'll find something that you can pull things out of, and that's where this information came from. So yeah, it's real. And so then the second article was, hey, prescription lenses hinders Vision Pro experience. So the fact that you have to have prescription lenses, the fact that they have to be put in there, the device is true. You have to have external vendors like Zeiss. You mean you can't make precision lenses yourself? And Apple doesn't want to get into the business. So there's a lot of griping about that.
Although it's interesting because a lot of the reasons for doing it the way they did it had to do with privacy of medical data. So you had to have a prescription. The prescription went in a different way, and Apple never saw it. And it went to Zeiss. They did the lens, shipped the lens to you, and your phone can keep a record of it, but it doesn't go anywhere else. So, yeah.
Yeah, here's another one. Apple Vision Pro in medicine has huge potential, but it's not ready yet. And they, in this article, talk about how we get all excited about these new uses and potential uses, but we're really it's misgiving on our part that we shouldn't get excited about it because, it's just not taking off the way it's taking off. And, doctors are not wearing them like they should be wearing them, or that people want them to wear them. They do say that what's interesting is this could be a really viable platform for patients. So patients can put the headset on and see what's going on in a dimensional way, which to me sounds a little insane because you're going to have to teach your patients how to use a Vision Pro and access stuff with it before any of that information is going to be helpful to them. Whereas doctors will have gone through the training and kind of know what they're going to use it for. And the idea that it's multiple screens where they can look at and have x-rays or CT scans available to them while they're doing a procedure, or they can have video coming from whatever probe they're putting in you directly in their eyesight or in their eye range. But they're trained on them. I think Brian just commented that these medium writers woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah.
Thank you with that. And VisionProNews is an independent analysis and original reporting on Apple Vision Pro and spatial computing, focused on strategy, adoption, and what actually matters beyond the hype. So that's their byline.
Now, it is kind of interesting. The patient side of it, I think, is kind of valid, but that also ties into what are the enterprise application options? Because if you can get an application where from your end you can push stuff to whatever application the patient is viewing, then you can drop in the diagram or drop in the anatomical model and point to things on your screen, and then have it be a full 3D model that's easier to figure out on the patient side. And that I think would be very useful. There aren't a whole lot of apps out there that do that right now. There's some modeling ones, some car engine visualization, that kind of thing. So hopefully that's something that will be more available going forward. It's the same as trying to use a Vision Pro for people who have limited mobility. You can have somebody help with getting the Vision Pro on, but if you can't move and do all of the gesturing, you need the visual part is great for kind of escaping where you are and seeing things and going out into the world, but then you need to be able to have somebody assist you in selecting and doing options.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it's I think the other thing they're missing is the potential for like interior design, sort of creating a mesh in a room and figuring out where to place objects, architectural stuff that it's its application can be used for that will do some pretty cool stuff. One final Medium article. It doesn't come from VisionProNews or whatever it was. This comes from the Buy Code. And I've got no byline on this, on the Buy Code, but it is Apple M5 Trap. How the Vision Pro became the most elegant lock-in device in tech history. And I think this is primarily talking about subscriptions. And once you have the device, you wind up having to purchase a bunch of stuff, and some of it on subscriptions to get it to be able to use its full function. You're kind of locked into that if you're going to use it. So, yeah. Standardizing around M5 means three big things at once. Developers can build once and target multiple form factors within minimal friction. Users experience similar to performance characteristics across the Mac, iPad, and the Vision Pro, and Apple can move workloads between screens and dimensions without changing the mental model. So, yeah. So I think it's less critical than some of the stuff from VisionProNews, and it doesn't set you up essentially with the idea that this is, let's talk about how this is a problem, and then we'll explain why it's a problem. Instead, it kind of says this is an aspect of this device that you might not have thought about. So again, another Medium article. I'll tell you, if it wasn't for,
Yeah,
go ahead, Eric.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's not really so much the M5, it's just the whole Apple ecosystem. The fact that you can have a watch and a phone and a laptop and the Vision Pro and copy clipboards and move things back and forth between the devices. That it doesn't have to be an M5 on everything. It just has to be current Apple OS.
Yeah. And so the problem is on all platforms. It's not just Vision Pro, or the ecosystem is on all platforms, not just Vision Pro. So I'll tell you, when I put these articles together, if it wasn't for Medium and these kinds of articles, and it wasn't for everybody talking about Steam, and if it wasn't for people talking about how they screwed up the original marketing of the Vision Pro, there wouldn't be anything to talk about in this show. So as much as I have things to complain about with the Medium articles, at least they gave us content for this week. Other stuff that's come out, okay, guys, call me crazy.
Crazy.
Hi, crazy.
I'm seeing a time really soon where the second generation of Apple glasses comes out, or I should say Vision Pro, it gets into that. And then we're going to have a real dilemma because we're either going to have to rename the title of this show and brand it so we can cover both Vision Pro and the Apple Glass, or Apple Ultra. What a horrible name for glasses. I don't know, but I woke up this morning or a morning ago and thought, what am I going to do when glasses come out? And you guys don't have another night to spend doing podcasting. So
I think
that's easy. You just have to make the capital F lowercase, and then it's just profiles of Vision, or Vision profiles.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter what the device is.
Yeah.
Whether it's glasses, whatever. It's still the same concept. So I think you're covered.
I believe me, I'm already thinking about that, because when that first announcement happens, we'll be doing something that's going to recognize both medium. And who knows, it might go from all Apple Vision Pro stuff as that product line fades or gets really specific to and expanding the stuff on Apple Glass. I really hope they don't call it the Ultra. What the heck is it's like detergent, you can get the regular or you can get the Ultra detergent. It just does not scream glasses. Dr. Panos joined us in the chat room, says, hi, everyone. He was with us last night on the Neo Notebook, and it's good to have him along again. If you want to join the chat room during the show, all you need to do is know when we record, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday nights for this show, Sunday nights for the Neo Notebook, 9 p.m., and go to the YouTube channel and join the chat with folks like Dr. Panos, Gary Witt, Brian is in there again, and we appreciate those folks in the chat room watching us live and giving me little tips, like my microphone was a little soft. Thank you, Gary. I got that tuned up a bit. I raised the volume. So
at least it isn't me. It usually is.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get back into this whole thing. Glasses are coming. There's a whole article on smart glasses, and this comes out of Android Headlines, which is the reason why I really wanted to publish this article. I really wanted to do this article because, the authoritative source of Android is going to tell us what's happening with Apple's headset. And, of course, they started off with the Apple Vision Pro headset. Hasn't exactly been a stunning success. It's not because it doesn't work. In fact, it works great, but it has its shortcomings: size, weight, price. And then it talks about Apple looking at glasses, multiple types of display-free glasses. So who knows? But except for apparently Android Headlines, they know of what we can expect. Talk about developing an upgraded Siri. You'll get a sneak peek of what Siri's going to look like at WWDC. I got news for you, Android. We got a sneak peek of what Siri looked like at WWDC 2024. and that didn't fend so well for Apple. And then it was all quiet at WWC 2025. So we'll see what happens at 2024 with that. Let's see. Other articles along the way. I don't know what's going on here. Apple's thinking about modular Vision Pro. This would allow users to customize it perfectly. Boy, I love articles like this. This is from Let EMS. I can't even tell you what the title is. LSA Magazine is what it is. Battery display replacements. So they're going to have, and that's one thing I always thought. It would be wonderful if somehow they built into the operating system enough hold power that when your battery got low enough, you could simply swap it out instead of having to jack into the bottom of the battery pack or the top of the battery pack. You could just swap the sucker out. It would have enough power to maintain it even in low power mode while you did the battery swap, and you could go back to whatever you were doing without having to do a full shutdown. So yeah, they talk about battery. And they talk about ergonomics with it. So that's one interesting or kind of interesting article. And then this was an article that came out based on some of the patents. And there's one patent in particular they're talking about in this article. And it's basically talking about a way in which all these devices can be integrated. And what happens is you're working on one device and you can pick up the next device, and it depends on what device you're working with, which that will change the content and how the content is displayed or done. So yeah, interesting piece here on that.
You know what I think would be really cool? I think it would be really neat if from the Vision Pro you set up some widgets and you had them all on your walls and stuff. But if you had an iPhone or an iPad and you came through the room, if you held it up to the wall, it would show you the widget on the screen of the iPad. I don't know if that's ever useful, but I have some really fun widgets where it would be nice to be able to see it even when I'm just passing through the room and I don't have time to put a Vision Pro on.
Yeah. All right. Let's do 10 hacks every Apple Vision Pro should have. And I think, Dave, you brought this to your show. And really last week. And really kind of nice. And that's why I wanted to bring it here again. Apple Vision Pro's hidden settings, bold text, increase contrast, reduce motion. Set it so saying shh turns down the volume. So just some cool things that you can do with your Vision Pro. I would encourage folks to pick this link up from our show notes and give a good read through if you have a Vision Pro, and see how that plays for you in terms of doing these different things. Pinching guest user. Just some cool things that you can do with this, particularly control center stuff.
Have you tried the Post-it note to keep your Vision Pro awake?
No. Talk about that.
Well, I got the little printed insert thing that just drops in. But one of the things they taught to is just, drop a Post-it note over the top of, between the two screens on the two corners of the screens, which I'm guessing covers the same sensor that the little plastic insert thing is that I use. And it just means you can set the Vision Pro down. I'm not sure I would set it face first like they show in the picture, but you could set it down briefly while you go do something else and it will still be all connected and set up. And then you could put it back on and slide the paper out and it will still be there. I'm guessing you could do it with a towel. It wouldn't have to be a Post-it note. But I kind of want to try a couple different things now.
Yeah. So let's be clear on that for folks who just heard that or are watching the video stream. You're taking a Post-it note or two Post-it notes, and putting them on the periphery, or?
Yeah. If you scroll down in that article, there's a picture. The one you were just going through.
Yeah, I've got it open here. And I'll try and get that.
So it's the inside corner, so you've got the two lenses. The inside part of the lens is where the sensor is to detect whether or not you're wearing it. So all the Post-it note is doing is covering that up, and it makes it look like you're still wearing it. And again, I wouldn't set your Vision Pro face down on a surface like that, but the Post-it note part of it is still valid.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. For those who can't see the picture, the Post-it note is like right smack on the bridge between the two optical sensors and covers the bridge section of the optical sensors, from what I can tell from the view of this.
Yeah.
Well, and it's sitting with the face side down, and it's sitting on top of a MacBook. So not only are
yeah,
putting
no cover.
With no cover.
And it's really close to the edge of a desk.
Yeah. Yeah, but he got the picture. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Steven Johnson gets credit for that picture.
He needs credit too, because he's going to be paying for a cracked lens next.
Yeah. Yeah, over the years, I've gotten a little loosey with some of my stuff in terms of protection. I have a cover that is mainly got a large open glass. It's not open glass, it's a cover, but it's a lot of glass or plastic, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then it's got a frame around it with the holes in where it needs. And I do put it down. I do put it down more and set it on that than I would expect, because I figure it's the cover that's having that. So anyways, let's go back to where we are here. Then, yeah, we got to show this one. This is Financial Express. So I turn to them for all of my tech advice.
I thought so.
And yeah, you can tell by my understanding of technology that I get it from Financial Express. The title of the article is, "Hey Ma, I'm not looking at the road. Tech influencer drives Tesla wearing Apple Vision Pro. Internet
what a
reacts."
Psycho.
Well, there's some poor life choices in there. Maybe even starting with driving a Tesla.
Well, there's that too.
Don't do that, by the way.
Yeah, we are not endorsing. We are not endorsing this behavior. Thanks for pointing that out, Eric.
No, we're not.
Yeah, it is very, very different. Now, let me see if I can get. Is there a video in here that I can for our viewers? Yeah, there's a little bit of a video here. Let me see if it will.
I'm really surprised they haven't taken that down.
And our listeners might not be able to hear it. He's watching Coachella on his Apple Vision Pro while driving down the road in his Tesla.
And on autopilot, I'm sure.
That's such a bad idea. He basically is saying, hey, I'm driving in an inattentive way, going down the roads. Yeah, just waiting for something bad to happen. Now, that being said, in a parked vehicle, having an ultra wide screen with, a virtual Mac desktop or however you're doing it is really, really useful.
Yeah.
Not while the car's moving.
Dr. Panos just feels that this was funny. He's kind of just laughing at the silliness of this. It just seemed, this video goes on for 14 minutes.
Wow. And it doesn't even have something at the end that says this is on a controlled track. Do not do this at home.
Yeah, and it looks like he's wearing a modded headset too. He's not wearing a dual strap. He's wearing I forget what it was, the plastic mod that goes across the front and rests on your forehead. the one that I bought one of and refused to buy a second one when all the problems with the first one. Yeah. 14 minutes.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
You get bored quick.
But he's watching Coachella. He's probably watching Carpenter. Sing at Coachella. Wow, that is so. And apparently they really kind of gave it to him on the internet. It of course was posted on Twitter, so that's probably why I would never see it. But some of the replies are post your reply. Let me see if I can go in here. Pretty wild. You can do this with older hardware. The new model doesn't let you watch at your phone when FSD is active. I really don't see too many people complaining about it. You'd see more of them asking questions about it.
Yep.
Or saying, this is really cool.
Yeah, I think the first 4 or 5 comments were more concern. Everywhere where there's a repeat of the video.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I would just be worried that, my insurance agent would see me doing something like that and cancel my policy.
Exactly.
yeah.
There's that.
Yeah. Brian
don't do it.
Yeah, Brian has a good comment here. I believe the Tesla's supervised full self-driving requires you to look at the road validated with an in-cabin camera. Tesla should do an update to tell you if you have this over your eyes. But I wonder if it's too difficult to tell the difference between a Vision Pro and sunglasses for Tesla to discern the difference between it, especially when Tesla's seeing those lovely googly eyes you've got with the forward-facing eyes that you get with this.
Interesting.
Yeah. Don't do this at home. Do it at home. Just don't do it on the highway. Yeah. Sit in your garage, put your thing on, put your headset on, and sit in your car. That's perfectly fine. I am going to leave the patent articles in the show notes for folks who want to look at it. Basically, patents about Apple exploring modular smart glasses with snap-on accessories. That is a Apple patent that was filed. Also, one on Apple's patent highlights Apple Watch's surprising role in AR identity and how that can also help with the Vision Pro. Another one, and we kind of talked about this from Touch to Intent, Apple's vision for smarter adaptive HomeKit interface. Apple versus Meta, the battle for your face is about to begin, talking about glasses. And Apple patent details ultra-efficient hand gestures detection for Vision Pro smart glasses and AirPods. So some of those patents you'll be able to see. There'll be links, all of them in the show notes. And patents are fun to look at. I think so. I don't know. Because it gets you dreaming about what things could be. So, yeah, I think that runs through everything that we had planned. We don't have any apps for tonight. I think I would love to see you guys try Steam if you could get it loaded and see if you can help figure it out. Even though you're not gamers, that would be fun to see if you can work your way through that. My bet's on Eric, actually, to be able to figure it out. Because
we did have that. We did have the Ask Siri app, the AI one.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So,
that
I might copy that into the apps section. take it out of the text of the show notes that we have and just put it in the app section. So if you're interested in that AI interface that you can do with Vision Pro, we'll put it in there for you to take a look at. So let's find out where we can find all of you. Eric.
Yes. I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mes.to. Otherwise, Sundays on the Neo Notebook. Monday nights, of course, here on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live, and Thursdays on In Touch with iOS. I'll expand on a future show, but keeping it brief.
You can find me on In Touch with iOS, intouchwithios.com. I'm just ready to release my episode of the interview with David Pogue, which is a pretty amazing session with Marty, Jeff, and myself. So we'll get that out. Be video and audio. Video. I'm going to actually do an edit on that one. So you can find me Mac Voices Live's back. And we have a show this coming week on Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner, Eric, and Marty, and others join us. Thursday nights we record In Touch with iOS, and Fridays on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network, and Blue Sky Mastodon, it's at Dave G65.
And for me, I'm going to suggest many of the places that have already been suggested and you've heard about during the show. Sunday nights at 9 p.m. with the Neo Notebook, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a YouTube channel for that. You can catch us live and join in that discussion. And we had a fun show last night. Lots of people with lots of comments, and it surprises me how much there is with this new device. Of course, Monday nights with Vision Profiles here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesdays with Chuck Joyner on Mac Voices. Thursdays with Dave on In Touch with iOS. Wednesdays at 9 p.m. with the Old Mac Gang, and we'll be talking about calendars and simple ways to use calendars this week. And then Friday mornings with the British Tech Network and the Mac Show. But there are a bunch of different podcasts I'm doing. I just recorded one today that I just put out called Fade to Chat, which is sort of a old movie buffs kind of movie show that I do with Cindy Rotz, and we talked all about Eve. Next week, we're going to be talking about Harvey, that movie with the man and the imaginary rabbit. I have never seen. Have you guys seen that film? Jimmy Stewart? No, I haven't seen it either. It's very popular high school play. So as you drive by high schools in the spring, you'll see that there'll be some that'll be doing Harvey. So yeah, I think it was a Broadway play or a play, and then it was a movie. And so we'll be doing that. I think it was 1950 was the date on that film. And so there's fun shows to look at. Go to thepodtalk.net. That's the website where I've got everything aggregated for the different shows that are done. And you can maybe find one that you really enjoy and one that's kind of the thing besides these great shows that we do. I really appreciate Dave and Eric and all the co-hosts that we have as a part of these shows, and also being a part of other people's shows are fun too. You can follow the live stream for this show at youtube.com/@VisionProfiles Monday nights at 9 p.m. You can pick the show up if you miss us on Monday nights. Pick the show up at that same channel on YouTube. And if you just want to listen to us, that's cool too. We had, who was it? Gary Witt was driving across country listening to this live feed with his Starlink on his vehicle. So very cool. You can pick up the shows at other times at the channel, or if you just want to listen to us, go to any podcatch service, and we'll have the channel. We'll have the show in by the end of the night before I go to bed. So look for show notes with all the links within both the video version of the show and the audio version of the show. and find out all about us. If you like to send us some ideas or comments, the podtalknetwork@gmail.com is our email. And again, the podtalk.net is our website. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. And spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.